All right. Hey, everybody. We're going to kick it off. Welcome to the webinar. This is a special webinar we're co-hosting with Blueboard. The theme today is motivating towards the quarter's close. And our goal is to show you a bunch of actionable tactics you can use by motivation, competition, recognition, incentives, things like that to help drive your sales teams to hit their lofty growth targets at the end of the quarter. So I'm here today with Jared Houghton and Morgan Chaney. We're going to walk through a brief 25-minute presentation. We're taking questions too. If you have any questions, feel free to chat them to us. And then what we'll do here is we're going to record this webinar and share it with you after it is complete. So hopefully you can come away from this with some good ideas for taking your sales team to the next level for the next month or so and hitting all your targets for the end of the quarter. So I'm going to go ahead. Let's go ahead and look at the agenda. So we basically have 4 steps here, 4 parts of the agenda. We're going to start by looking at the power of effective motivation, what the financial impacts can be of an unmotivated sales force versus a motivated sales force. From there, we're going to look at what the top motivators are for sales teams. Show you how goals, how different types of recognition, different types of competitions, things like that can really help motivate your sales team. And some unorthodox ways you can implement them too that actually have more of an impact and are proven to have more of an impact than just your standard, spiff or leaderboard. Lastly, we're going to tie it all together. We're going to show you kind of what all, how Ambition and Blueboard have helped clients in the past with a variety of these mechanisms we'll be speaking about, and then we'll close out with some Q&A. And so our presenters today, Jared Houghton, Ambition co-founder and chief sales officer. He's helped tons of sales teams help motivate their sales force around goals, recognition, and incentives. Me, Jeremy Boudinais, who I'm just kind of hosting for today, and Morgan Chaney, who's the head of marketing for Blueboard and who we've worked with a ton in the past and has a really awesome product and a really awesome perspective on helping motivate salespeople. All right, so making the most of today's webinar, we encourage you to ask any questions via the chat box. You can just go in, just type them in, and we'll see them, and we'll happily address those as part of the Q&A at the end. Feel free to share anything you've learned that's interesting over Twitter or LinkedIn, or you can tweet at us or follow us at Ambition Sales or at Blueboard. All right, so I'm going to pass it off now to our CSO, Jared Houghton, who's going to start by giving you the background of today's presentation.
Hey, folks. Jared Houghton here, excited to be doing the webinar today. Let's start with why we're here. For many on the call today, your quarter 2 is likely wrapping up in the next 16 and a half business days. Definitely know that ours is. My hope is that we can hit on some tactics and strategy for finishing this quarter strong, as well as carrying these principles into future quarters. So let's start with part of the problem. CSO Insights finds that 45% of sales reps are falling short of their quotas. There are many reasons leading to this, of course. For example, lack of sales training, competition in deals, and maybe lack of leadership. But a big part of this is a lack of motivation and engagement. Here we see some engagement stats by the numbers. We see that 20% of reps are actively disengaged while at work. Another 51% classified as unengaged. That leaves only 29% of your reps engaged while on the clock. Here we see a dollar value associated with the disengaged reps. Lack of motivation leads to a number of things, such as dissatisfaction, poor performance, and poor customer service. The estimated cost to U.S. businesses every year is said to be roughly $550 billion. So we've seen that reps are falling short of their quotas. We've seen that 70% are not engaged while at work, and we've seen the massive amount of capital this is costing our companies. Now let's dive into basically how to hedge against this. On the webinar today, we're going to break this down into 3 sections. First, we'll look at setting clear goals and how to use contests. Then Morgan is going to walk us through meaningful incentives and development and purpose. Let's start with clear goals. Many of you probably set up your 2016 quarterly plans in quarter 4 of last year. It's important to take a proactive look at this As I mentioned, there's only 16 and a half business days left this quarter. So if John Smith, let's call him, hypothetical sales rep, had a goal of hitting 8K in recurring revenue this month, that was set, again, quarter four last year, but only has 5K in forecasted pipeline, you must tweak the plan to optimize for a more realistic and attainable quarter-end number. I'd recommend an immediate one-on-one where you inspect a pipeline and get him to commit to a goal that is more attainable. This will both motivate and engage him to reach a now foreseeable and attainable goal. Upon getting John aligned with the new plan, I'd encourage deploying some sort of contest. Common examples that any organization can deploy include things like spiffs, maybe a leaderboard, be it on the whiteboard or maybe a TV PowerPoint. And lastly, you should send regular updates on progress and pace towards goal attainment. And I think the most important thing you can do is to celebrate the success publicly. These next few slides will discuss how Ambition automates this for sales organizations. Again, Ambition's main focus is to drive accountability, visibility, competition, and recognition across the sales team. This will, of course, bring focus and clarity to KPIs, benchmarks, and sales process, drive adoption of key systems, and increase engagement and ownership of the sales process. Let's look at how Ambition solves these problems. Ambition does this by integrating with your data systems. For most sales organizations, this means usually CRM and phone system. For example, you might use Salesforce.com and Cisco phones. Ambition integrates with those. And from there, Ambition displays real-time KPI information to, number one, drive rep accountability to hitting metrics, and two, provide leadership with actionable data to coach, train, and motivate their teams to hitting their goals. Here's a look at a few different features Ambition uses to drive this metric accountability. Through leaderboards, automated competitions, manager dashboards, and personalized recognition, Ambition is able to drive bottom-up buy-in from the sales team. Remember that 70% of disengaged reps we discussed? Ambition's entire purpose is to move their performance to be more like that of your higher performers. And on the right side here, you actually see Ambition's impact to West Corporation, where they saw a 46% increase in productivity across all cohorts of the sales team. So some of the, you have bottom performers, middle performers, and top performers. We were actually able to engage all of them and increase productivity by 46%. Lastly, here I want to hit on an example of a company that adopted the Ambition framework. The Harvard Business Review actually profiled the success. This is with Clayton Homes. And they found that Clayton was able to increase calls by 18%, double calls that led to appointments, and increase transferred calls by 800%. And lastly, that led to a 200% increase to people actually visiting their retail stores. That was the biggest number they were optimizing for. And when one of the reps was interviewed, he said it wasn't just about carrot and stick motivation, but rather about prolonged discipline. So whether you use a tool like Ambition or deploy, Excel, maybe a whiteboard, maybe the sales gong on the floor, there's lots of ways to clearly set the expectations of your team and to re-engage and kind of, change the goals for the team to really optimize to maximize, your end of month or your end of quarter. With that, I think I'll kick it over to Morgan to take over with point number 2.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining, and I'm really excited to dig into how meaningful incentives build energy amongst your sales team. The benefits: generating excitement by offering something that's above and beyond your team's standard comp, assigning real value to your team's efforts, and showing appreciation for their above and beyond performance. And appreciation most certainly pays off. We read through a recent study that showed that the #1 motivator of great work wasn't increased pay or new promotion. It was actually just to be recognized. So when we think of incentives, the first things that come to mind are often things like cash, gift cards, company shares, or maybe those really special swag items. But while these are popular, we have to ask ourselves, are they actually meaningful? Think of the last time you received cash or a gift card for a job well done. What did you do with it? Most likely, you might have bought some groceries, paid off some credit card debt. Nice, but not really that meaningful. Meaningful rewards are what truly drive motivation, build real excitement, and ultimately will help you attain those really aggressive goal targets. So what makes an incentive meaningful? When thinking about meaningful sales incentives programs, standard cash or gift card rewards just aren't effective. A few factors to keep in mind. And actually, Jeremy, if you want to bump up one previous slide, that would be great. Sorry. So the first thing, incentives should be memorable, something your employees will keep with them and talk about for years to come. Incentives should be personal and individualized because not everyone is motivated by the same thing. So your rewards should be tailored to your team's own desires and needs. And incentives should be shareable, something they can get excited about and share with their teammates back at the office, helping to build up positive morale. And lastly, incentives should reflect your company values. They should feel authentic and support the long-term health of your company. So if cash and gift cards are off the table, what are the other options? Have you considered experiences? Experiences are great because they're inherently memorable. Think back to the last time you did something really special with a friend or a loved one. I'll bet that event meant more to you and stayed with you longer than when that last cash bonus hit your bank account. Experiences are personal. Everyone on your team has their own unique hobbies, passions, and aspirations. We offer a wide catalog of experiences for them to pick from. I put a few of our favorites posted to social media here on the screen. Employees sharing memories from a Blueboard snorkeling trip, a glass blowing class, or even just one of those much-needed date nights. At Blueboard, we offer your employees choice and variety to ensure that they redeem their most valuable and exciting experience, or we welcome them to dream up something completely custom. And lastly, experiences are really shareable. It's the reason why our clients like GoPro, Eventbrite, and Chick-fil-A came on board. They wanted their incentives to blow up employee Instagram feeds, and they wanted their employees to want to come in early on a Monday to share all of the details of their weekend adventure. Can you remember the last time someone on your team humble bragged about maybe an Amazon gift card? There's probably a good chance it's still collecting dust in their drawer as we speak. So I'd love to show you a few of our favorites. Let me know on chat if there's any experiences that you'd love to pick. Go ahead, Jeremy, one more slide. So maybe you have a few foodies on your team. We actually just sent a couple to French Laundry in Sonoma, which has not 2, but actually 3 Michelin stars. It was an amazing way to celebrate their 10th anniversary. Or maybe your team's made up of younger millennials who are a bit more adventurous. I bet they'd love kiteboarding or even skydiving. Or for those who just want to relax and unwind or maybe treat their family, they can enjoy VIP tickets to the game or a personal spa day. And for that top performer who really wants to go all out, we can make them Bond, James Bond. A full day of jumping out of planes, driving fast cars, and learning how to mix that perfect martini. So hopefully we're getting the creative juices flowing a bit as you think about which incentives or rewards will really be the most exciting for your crew. And the best part is they're incredibly easy to deliver. Our platform actually allows you to send an experiential reward with literally just one click. We're pretty sure that's easier than running to the store to buy a stack of gift cards, right? You'll simply choose from one of our 8 reward levels you'll see across the top, share a note about your employee's achievement with the option to link to a company value, enter their contact info, and then just hit send. They'll receive an email with details on how to redeem the reward, and we'll also arm you with printed gift cards or printed cards so you can share an additional handwritten note. So now we'll move on to the last key motivator, development and purpose, which has lasting gains beyond the sales quarter. I'm talking about helping your team to really develop and grow in their roles, deepening their connection to the company and their overall sense of purpose. Increasingly popular with millennial employees is the need to feel that their work is really valued and that they have a path for continued success. A recent Deloitte study actually shared that more than 6 in 10 millennials, 63%, said their leadership skills are not being fully developed. What better way to motivate your employees than supporting their long-term development and knowledge base? A few easy ways to bring this to life include senior leadership shadow days, where you allow your teammates to tag along for your key meetings, mentor-mentee programs matching older generations with millennial talent, maybe granting access to strategic trainings or conferences, or giving them the opportunity to take on 20% projects, which was made popular by Google, either in support of cross-functional initiatives or projects typically assigned to more senior teammates. So let's put all of these new ideas into action. We'll take a minute to spotlight the success of Lauren Hobson, Sales and Tactical Marketing Manager at Cellmark. So last year, Lauren had a very ambitious sales goal, $34 million hanging over her head. And as the end of the year approached, she needed to ramp up energy and momentum to close out her year strong. She enlisted ambition to run an 11-week fantasy football-themed sales contest, complete with weekly head-to-head matchups, leaderboards, and all with the ability to measure rep performance amongst a clear set of KPIs. And the award at the end? Blueboard rewards ranging up to $1,000 for each of the top reps. Not only did the contest and juicy incentive drive motivation, Lauren's team closed out her year with an amazing 18% year-over-year growth. You're welcome to watch more of her story on our website at blueboard.com. All right, thanks so much for everyone who joined today. Let's quickly wrap this up. So if nothing else, what should you walk away with? First, disengaged sales reps can cost you way more than just your quarterly quota. And as a leader, it's your job to really motivate your team towards the quarter close. Secondly, games not only promote healthy and fun competition, but also allow your reps to track towards key performance metrics. Third, make sure your sales incentives are designed to meet the varied interests of your employees. Ask yourself, is my recognition program memorable? Is it personal or shareable? And does it align with the values my company stands for? And lastly, seek new ways to develop your employees. It'll give them a renewed feeling of value and purpose and promote your long-term retention goals. So I'll now move into a few minutes of open Q&A for the remaining time we have together. Feel free to ask questions over the phone line, enter questions into chat, and we'll take a few minutes to go through it.
Thanks, Maureen. Yeah, and anyone who wants to ask questions, you can chat those really quick to us. We had a few questions come in, I know, prior to the webinar from people looking for ways to celebrate small wins with their teams. So I might throw it to both of you, maybe Jared first, to discuss what are some good ways to celebrate small wins and so that are easy and quick and can rapidly and don't take a lot of time from the manager, but are effective as well.
Yeah, I think, there's 16 and a half business days left this quarter, and, everybody on the call obviously understands their unique sales process, better than anybody. So quick wins, say it's, need a pipeline. I mentioned John earlier, who did not have near the pipeline goal to hit quota. So one, changing the quota goal, but also you as a manager know exactly what it takes to build pipeline. Quarter two is about to end. He can only close what is attainable and already at a certain stage of pipeline. A quick contest idea to get him started off to a strong quarter three would maybe be to, put him in a call, contest with some peers for, calling into new leads, for going and building out that quarter, three start to getting that pipeline jump started. So there's many easy ways to build contests. You don't have to have a software like Ambition, although it's definitely helpful. But just understand what the metrics are that make up your funnel, and understand what motivates your team, and quickly build contests, be it daily, weekly, or monthly, to drive the right behaviors at the right time throughout the quarter.
Thanks, Jared. Yeah, Morgan, you want to jump in there with anything?
I don't know, I feel like you guys covered it. That was great.
Great. Awesome. Okay. And then another one we had that was another good question that come in was what are some ways to really, I guess, make sales more fun in general? And I love that question because I think sales, especially towards the end of the quarter, it's more strenuous and pressure cooked than ever before. So, Jared, I'll start with you again. What do you think for some ways that you've seen our clients, just people in general, really create a more fun atmosphere and culture in their bullpen?
Yeah, it's a good question. You know, we didn't talk much about it on this webinar, but there's an overwhelming amount of, it's actually the largest demographic today, especially in inside sales. The millennials are now the largest workforce generation, and they're a different generation entirely. So I say we because I am one. Real-time feedback. We want to know, are we on pace? We want to know, where do we need to go and what do we need to do? And a fun way, Ambition clients actually achieve that and tap into that excitement through fun contests is, the ability to group into teams, draft teams across the sales organization, and actually compete in a fantasy football-like framework. Fantasy football takes up tons of employee time in the fall especially, but being able to carry that excitement from fall football season year-round with team-based contests through our fantasy football framework is a very awesome way to engage and drive sales performance for companies.
Awesome. Thanks, Jared. And then Morgan, we'll throw it back to you for that. Sir, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I feel like I actually had a few years of sales experience before coming over to Blueboard, and the biggest thing is just really making it a team effort, kind of to echo Jared a little bit, making sure that everyone's focused, you're reporting the metrics really clearly, because I think it can be easy if you feel like the quarter's coming up to a close and you may not hit it to just say, I'll just start focusing on building my pipeline for the next one. But as much as you can do to have leadership involved with driving excitement, making sure that everybody is working hard down to the last day of the quarter to achieve your goals will really pay off.
Absolutely. Great stuff, Morgan. Thank you. And and so I guess one final thing we had was really a question about just in general, just motivating people, especially across the middle of the pack, how to do that. What were specific ways to kind of hit that middle 70%? And so, Jerry, I'll start with you, I guess. What are some ways that you've seen to maybe, because top performers always get recognized and they're always carrying the load. How do you get that 70% to really carry more of the load and really ramp up at the end of the quarter?
Yeah, it's a good question and not the easiest to answer quickly. But I'm a big believer in the Pareto principle. Basically says 20% of your people bring in 80% of the results. Those people are your natural go-getters. They're naturally good at your job, whatever that job is, and they're just better salespeople. So again, impacting that person who might not win the everyday call contest or revenue contest. They're your kind of middle and maybe lower performers. We kind of have two ways of doing that. One, we do a normalized scoring. So we never compete on raw revenue, for example. Your top sales reps are always going to win those, and the bottom, other 80%, 70%, whatever it is, they kind of fall off. They know they're not going to be able to beat, Joe Smith or whoever it is because he wins every contest. So we compete on that normalized score, which kind of, it can be anything. You can give different goals to different tenured reps or different roles within the company. So you compete on goal attainment rather than total revenue, for example. That's a great way of doing it. I've seen that be super effective in a number of organizations. And the other one we kind of mentioned in the previous question is just competing as a team. You take those 20%ers who always win individual contests. We encourage you to put them in a team of 2, 3, 4, 5 and compete on the team average output. So it's not about any one person. It's about every person's ability to work together. And that brings up everyone at the same time, usually led by that more naturally good sales rep. Everyone kind of buys into his or her energy, and he's able to cross-train or develop the other members of the team to really hit those numbers that they might not have thought possible because they're doing it as a team unit.
Great. Thanks, Jared. And Morgan, any thoughts to add to that?
Yeah, going back to our example with Lauren from Cellmark, she did a great job of offering not just one huge reward, but actually 6 rewards that were tiered based on how people came through in the end of the contest. And she also did an additional, I believe she called it an MVP reward, but it was given to other cross-functional teammates who helped really rally and champion the sales team. They're a pharmaceutical company, so a lot of even the researchers or marketing team or scientists were all part of the mix. Everyone really wants the company to succeed. So she had a great idea of engaging those cross-functional teams by matching them up to different sales reps so that they could really cheer on and root for all of the sales team. And then for that person who was a true champion, they won an MVP award as well. So not only did she have a tiered incentive plan, but she also engaged the rest of the organization to make sure that all of the sales reps felt supported and had some people behind them and knew that the whole company really cared about their cause.
Awesome. Yeah, and you can check out that whole video where Lauren sort of tells her story at Blueboard or at Ambition. In fact, we'll probably, when we send out the link of this recording, we'll include a link to the YouTube clip of that as well. But she has a great story. I think that goes to show if you get creative and you find creative, compelling ways to reward and engage as much of your team as possible, towards the end of the quarter, you can really find a boost across the whole team. So I guess this about wraps it up. It's almost 2:30. Thank you all for attending. We hope that you get a lot out of this. We'll be sending you a recording of this via email to follow up this afternoon. Feel free to give any feedback to us. You can email us, and we will definitely, get back to you and would love to talk more about Ambition, Blueboard, and other ways that you can help push your team to reach their goals at the end of the quarter. So thanks so much, guys. I guess on that note, we will sign off. Thanks, everyone. Good luck.